Nani ue mina-san, it's your boy, and today at Boy Meets East, we're going to be talking about a fun little film that I watched called Baby Assassins. It's about two teenage girls trying to balance their lives as personal, or not personal, but professional assassins with part-time jobs. It's as silly as it sounds. So without further ado, let's get into it. Okay, so here's the setup. We've got Mahiro and Chisato, two high school. I think they're in high school actually. I think they may have just gotten out of high school, but either way, I imagine they're young assassins who, with their organization, who want them to graduate, get jobs, and blend in to normal society. But the really big problem is that they are not like normal girls. Mahito can barely talk. She's really awkward and self conscious. And I think if you get to know her, if you're one of her people, she'll come out of her shell just fine. But if you're not, you will know ASAP. Chisato, she's really laid back and what I would call like maybe like crazy girlfriend vibes in the best possible way. She's a bit of a nerd. They're both all about food. And honestly, they couldn't be more opposite like to each other. But I think that's what makes this like buddy action thing really, really good. I'm hesitant to even call it a buddy action thing, but you know, they figure it out. Um, the really great thing about this film is the humor, and I think it does strikes a really, really good balance at being something that's so uniquely Japanese yet really broad in a way that I think everyone understands. I've seen some comedy in or Japanese comedy where it's so broad and slapsticky, and I'm hoping to figure out the range of comedy in Japan. But nevertheless, I think this comedy 100% is really global and recognizable, and but really uh, uniquely Japanese. I mean, it's I've never watched a movie that took the mundanity of of like I guess being a hitman, like being an assassin is like it's like is their job, is their passion, and everything else is just so boring. So almost in a weird twist, it's a workplace comedy. I would say akin to The Office, um, but that's neither here nor there. Um, Actually, I think that really shines through when we talk about like the dialogue and how it's like really everyday dialogue, even with the Japanese subtitles. I can understand a really good portion of it because it's almost slice of life. Like it's everyday normal activity. But what are you gonna do? I think where this film kind of stands apart is actually the action sequences. Uh, as much as it's about these awkward girls, and well, I don't know if I would call them awkward, but like awkward girls, um, the fight scenes are anything but out of place. Um, this is some of the best fighting sequences I've seen in a very long time, and I think when you pair that with the personalities that we were able to get to know during this film, it makes sense why they are like this like badass duo. But but the fighting isn't over the top. I don't know. I don't think it's over the top, but I do think it's updated from what you would think like a martial arts style of fighting movie would be. And I think it's really creative and it keeps people engaged, but it's brutal without being like John Wick brutal, you know? Um, and I think I don't know who choreographed this. I wouldn't be surprised if it's some big shot because I think the fighting styles are also really akin to like their personalities. Um, yeah, yeah, and I think they're two girls who love to kick butt, and I think they get a real joy out of it. But that's not like necessarily like the sociopathic like I just need to kill as much as again it's like it's their job and they want to be really really good at their job. You know they think they're good at their job. They are good at their job. Therefore, they're going to put all that effort into it, which again I think speaks to society. Um, but again, I think there is a real heart to this movie, despite the laughs, despite the action. Um, Mahiro and Shisato, their chemistry is what really takes you in. I think it's really interesting and really fun to have two females portray friendship in this way, and it's not. I don't think there's any guys introduced. There's like zero love interest, but there's also just like a shit ton of like. There's also a lot of drama and conflict within their friendship, and I think even halfway, I expected this to be like some really cheesy friendship breakup that happens, which it may actually, but it's not done in a traditional way. It's not done in the way that you would expect, which is why I think this movie is so good. So, would I recommend Baby Assassins? The answer is absolutely. It's probably one of it's probably one of my favorite series. Period. I'll certainly have a video coming out about Baby Assassins 2, Baby Assassins 3, and Baby Assassins every day. So stick around if you want to hear my thoughts on that. But I think this movie is just a fun, quirky movie that really sucks you into their world. And I think they don't waste much time building onto that. I think there's a lot of quirky characters, a lot of like fun being had, and it's not too over the top. I think if you have a lot of Western ideals on movies and comedy, you may not like it, and that's okay. But I do think you need to look past that, get into what Japan and what this movie's trying to do here very specifically, and just hop on for the ride. I think it's funny. I think it's action packed, and I think the relationships and the other characters have a really good chemistry. Again, if you're into offbeat action comedies with some cool fight scenes or good humor, give it a watch if you can find it. Until next time, thank you so much for watching. If you made it this far, like, subscribe, and listen, we'll catch you on the next one. Until then,